Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have a Marine ECM retest. This is actually a computer I repaired almost a month or so ago for Dan in Kentucky. He still has problems on the boat, so he's running out of ideas. I said, you know what, let's just send a computer, and I retested it. It's like, oh, how much it will cost me? I said, no charge. So let me just show you the conversation, and also I explain him that I repair the computers and I give it as much as I can as far as guidance on what to test in the boat. But at the end of the day, all I can do is help you. But you need to have a technician probably looking at the boat in cases like this. So let me just show you the notes. Well, first, I have the computer connected in here. It's power on, but it's not running yet. So we can see it still has all the write-ins that I put, and he was here in September 18, and now is here since 10/6. Today is the 11. I also have it here now, which I'm going to show you. This is the EST that Bobo Penta and Mercruiser uses on the MEFI 4. Inmar, Malibus, and so on, they use a different EST, which I have been using this one to not be swapping. And that creates a fault for the EST signal open just because the connections are different. But I know that as long as I can see the coil firing, everything is fine. And I should always connect that one, but it's just about unplugging and plugging. So when I'm trying to connect and testing MEFI4, I just try to stick to one connection and just keep going. But I'm going to connect his original setup. This is the original coil for Inmar Malibus, and I had the other coils, and obviously I don't connect those because all we're going to see here will be a spark. If all the signals are working, we can see this on the load, because at the end of the day, it's just a coil firing. This is a distributor system, so it's not really necessary to have that connected. But I can show you that I have that in here. Again, this is the other ignition module, and that is the ignition module EST system that Inmar Malibu uses. So I'm just going to keep that here. All right, so I'm going to power off the computer 1 second so we can get to see the ignition, the fuel pump working. And as you see, I have a relay connected, so there is no doubt that it will come on. And we can see that it is working, so it's all connected and ready to go. I have his notes and everything in there, but we're going to see that on his folder. So let me move you over to his folders. I always do one. This is for the first visit, and this is now today. So his now concern, and this was September 26th. Hey, Mike. Let me just make this a little bigger so you can read it as well. Hey, Mike, there is a problem. I hook up the ECM and no start. No bolts at the fuel pump, showing code 41, electronic spark timing open circuit, and code 81. You're the expert with this. What's going on? Yeah, so I respond to him. Hey, Dan, I will suggest checking the harness as that was not present here or whatever your concerns. So check the connections to make sure no pins on the ECM are out of the connector or bent. Hope you have seen the video I sent you where I show your module fully repaired and running. You need to check the boat and correct any issues you might have in there. I fixed your module, not the boat. And I want to make that very powerful and understood that I cannot fix your boat. Here is a video I made testing your boat, your your module, and also giving you some recommendations to testing the boat before connecting the module. If you check connections and all seems to be correct, I will ask you to send the module back to retest and see now what is there. Code 41 and can be there, and 81 if there is no start condition or if the fuel pump is not running. And I explained that, and I sent that to him the very same day after he sent me that. Now, the last messages, he asked me at the bottom, you can probably see it better here. Mike, let me move myself from here 1 second so you can read that too. Mike, how much to have you retest ACM? Again, September 26th. I say, hi, Dan, no charge. My pleasure to help. He said, Mike, you are a true gentleman, and thank you so much for that. And that was our last conversation that very same day. Now I have the computer here. So I can show you, I already saved a running capture with one throwable code. You can see it right here at the bottom when I'm moving my hand, and all the signals running. You'll be like, well, what the full code is only 81 oil cat high, and that is whatever you are. I don't have that connected. That's you will have to follow that full code, but that will not prevent the computer from running or working. And I'm going to prove that in here. So let me go back to here. I'm going to put the diagram and also the pico, which is we're going to use to see the two ejection signals. And we're going to see the activations in here. But let's connect first to the computer. Okay, you are seeing that. So I'm going to click OK. That's MEFI 1 and 4. It's going to detect the modules. I click on mode 1. And now it should have 0 fault codes. I just want to show you. So here, his calibration is 5A1B. That is specifically for his boat. These calibration hours, 531.2. What else? I will put, well, I can show you there is also a 5.7 liters. And that's pretty much what we need to see here. The codes right now, there is no fault codes. And we'll see that because I'm going to put first just the fault codes so you can see that I will be running the module. And you're going to see it on the injector signals that we have on the oscilloscope, which is now showing us on the bottom low pulse width. So that will give us the injection time the computer is commanded to happen. But let's see what fault codes we get when we run this. All right, for a little while, there is no fault codes. Everything is happy. We got injectors and we got the coil firing on this right here. And I can move the channel over to that. We can see the coil activation, and that is happening now on the blue channel. And that's what we see more activation because it's going to fire 8 times, right? 8 cylinders. Right now we have a fault code on the computer, right? So one fault code only. And that is, again, the cat oil cat high. So again, that's because it's not connected here. And I'm not going to test that because this, again, that will not prevent from running. And that is very specific to INMAR. So you need to go over to wire diagrams. Again, Dan, you need to get a diagnostician, a technician that can help you with, I will recommend you, and I always recommend this to all the customers, is to order yourself a Diacom Windows base that you can connect to a laptop and then grab all the information. I can help you, and I can help your technician in here. If you get those, you get the manuals for INMAR and everything. And that's how I always get the right connections, the right wirings, and I go alone to everything. So this is running perfectly. I'm going to now put the RPM in the screen so we can see now that we're running at 661 RPMs. I'm going to increase the RPMs to around 4,000. It's going to go slowly so I can be more accurate in there. All right, so we're around 4,000. I'm going to increase the throttle because right now we're in 4%. I want to make it go over to like at least 40. And then the manifold air pressure, which I'm right now on 12.7, I'm going to increase it around 21. And you will be able to see the changes on the pulse width as soon as I touch the throttle and the map sensor. Right now we're in 5.9 milliseconds. Everything is working good, and we only have that very same just one fault code. So no other fault codes, and your computer, as I said, is working perfectly. There's nothing wrong with your computer, and everything is working 100%. So I am taking the time to do this for free just to help a customer. And I try also to show this because when I test a computer, I do it really well. If it's something you connect your computer and burns, it's just because you have a problem in the boat, not because my lack of testing or something like that. So I always, take with peace those comments about, I connected my computer and it's not a starter. You're the expert. What's going on? Question mark. Like I did something wrong. And it's kind of like in our nature. Okay, everything I did myself is perfect, but whoever or the other person did, it might be wrong. Not the boat, not myself, whatever he did. And that's where it's a little sometimes sad to, try to do as best as you can And even with videos and all the tests that I do, people still think that something is missing or I did something wrong. And I mean, I can. It's not that I am perfect, though, don't get me wrong. But I try to eliminate the human error by going beyond the testings and everything that I do for all these computers. And yes, I'm going to tell you, sometimes, and it can happen, a computer, an electronic board, it can fail at any time. And that could be, out of my hands. Because if I run a computer here and it works good, right? But you connect it in the boat and then later it fails, it's not because I did something wrong. It's because it's the nature of electronics. You can buy a brand new computer and it can fail in a year, it can fail in 2 years, it can fail in 2 days. And it's hard to see what, it could cause that. But, a good working computer with a good harness and good sensors, it should last for a very long time. Yes, I have seen, glitches, especially intermittent glitches, not like something like what Dan has before, because he was here for a no start, no fuel pump, and nothing. And you can see that that is not the case. And let me see if I can get you the history of the first visit. I'm going to close that RPM for 1 second. Let me see his notes first. I feel, yes, I have his information in there. So give me 1 second to make that a copy. Like that I can show you that, because I have not saved it as personal info. So give me 1 second, guys, to show you the first concerns. Because I will probably put the link on the description of the first video that I did for him. And I don't remember if I did a long one or not, but I think I did. Let me I have to flip this around. And let me edit so I can remove his information. Give me just 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. That was not ready for you. Again, I'm trying to protect his personal information because I don't have his permission to show anything about address or telephone or email. And that's what I'm trying to remove in here. All right, so let me get this out of here for a second and let's go over to this image. So this is from the first time the computer was here in 9/18. You see there. And I want you to see his problems was two things: code 34 and 51, no spark, no fuel pump. And I was very straightforward to him. I said, code 51 is a bad checksum error, and that will definitely prevent the computer from running and from activating the fuel pump. But then also that 34 was, I think, a map sensor or something like that. It was definitely a damage in the computer that needed to be repaired. And I repaired that. So the proof is in the pudding. Right now, we have no code 34 and no code 51. So that was what I was fixing, and I fixed it perfectly. And that computer is now working 100%. I can show you in the RPMs and tests, where his calibration is right here, 5A, 1B. So that's exactly the same calibration that we have in his computer now that I had to change because his calibration was corrupted. But that is no longer the case. So yeah, just an update. But yeah, again, to keep this in here, I'm going to show you that all this time that I've been talking to you guys and everything, we still have just the one full code. So the same one full code running at different RPMs. We're still in 4,000 RPMs. I'm going to bring the computer down. Let me just go over to the page. You can see the oil cat high, same full code, no other full code in there. And then we're in 4,000. I'm going to bring the computer down to 650, which is the RPMs at idle that I use here. Keep an eye on the injection millisecond because right now we're still like 4.5 because obviously with the idle that changes for the RPM, but the map sensor, which I'm going to change now from 21 to 12.7, is going to be a major player into that injection time. You see right now we're in 2.5 milliseconds. And then last, I got to change the throttle position from 42% to 7 to 10%. That's what I usually do in idle. Now we have injection is 2.5. So the map and the RPMs are the main players in that. All signal presence, coils, and ESD signal, everything is perfect. The computer is happy 100%. We got IAC valve activation, which let me turn the light off. So you get to see that flickering lights in here. We got the fiber reference, which is kind of like an orange where my thumb is, and now the sensor ground. So all the signals, everything is perfect in this computer, and this is starting every single time. I'm going to again turn the computer off as far as RPM, and let me select the RPM pit so you can see it. And then I'm going to erase the full codes. Let me do that first. You'll see that now no full codes, so 0 full codes, and then the RPM. Let's run it one more time. And as you see, this computer runs instantly, no issues. Again, that cat high 81 will come on. It's not connected here. And if you get that full code there, because code 81 is a generic code and it can be for injectors for anything. So that I have here, you might not get in the vehicle. And I don't have a list of anything with this time. He says only code 41, actually, not 81. Because let me just see his note on this visit, the one he sent me. Concerns. Yeah, showing code 41, electronic spark timing open circuit, and a code 81, which doesn't say what code 81 was for, and I don't see that here. In your notes, it says engine crank but not start, fuel pump that's come on, which in there he said it didn't. When key turn to run position, you repair previously installed ECM no start, use code reader. You mentioned it, you will retest. Please check all inputs and output signals that might prevent it starting. I'm sure you do already. Of course I do. But yeah, so then I am sorry, but this is as much as I can help you. Like I mentioned it to you in our conversation, this is now in your bowl side. You need to get somebody to help you to get knowledge. And I would recommend you to get not a code reader. Code reader is not a help. All you can see is codes. You need to see information like this with Diacom. It's going to cost you $760. You can connect it to a laptop and you can gather information. I can jump into, if you have internet connection, with like a team viewer, and I can see the values, and I might be able to help you because I got all the wire diagrams. I had, plenty of knowledge, but I need somebody with good hands in there that I can tell them to do a couple of tests and then find out. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what you might have, but I would recommend you to change your distributor module, which is again the same one I'm showing here. And I'm going to actually take the time. Let me take let me take these two out and that one out because I want to show you the ESC system on these boats, so you can get to see your distributor type. All right, so this is the distributor type in your boat, and the ignition module is built inside. This is right here your distributor. This ignition module is inside there. You have a pickup coil, which is going to change the signal based on the spinning of the same rotor through the shaft of the distributor. So that's going to give this PNN signal. That's this in here, the pickup coil, the one I'm moving my hands on. Yeah, I cannot, right here. So this is the pickup coil that they show here. So this is a pickup coil, and it's going to be connected to the PNN. And then you have multiple signals that I'm also having on the next page. This is the way it's connected into the computer. So these are the signals that needs to be checked. It might be the pickup coil that is bad. It might be the ignition module that is bad, but it's definitely not the computer. It could be a wiring issue. If you're missing any of these connected signals like J216, J231, or J215, it could be the problem. So those are simple tests you can do with I will disconnect the computer, disconnect the ignition module, and then use a test light to battery positive, connected to battery positive. First, check the wiring with a multimeter to continuity to make sure that you are in the correct pin. Then continuity from that wire to ground to make sure it's not shorted to ground. And continuity to power to make sure it's again not shorted to power. If all those pass, then I would put, because you want to stress the wire. So you want to use a test light, maybe like a halogen bulb that you can connect one end to, let's say, the terminal B and the connector that was going or to be plugged in into this module. And then the other side of the test light, the bulb, right, to battery positive. On the other side in connector J on the computer, connector J2 pin 15, I will use a wire to ground. So when I ground the wire, this light should light up nice and bright. That will now tell me that that wire is able to carry amperage. It's not open. But you have to do the test that I told you before about continuity to ground and so, because if that wire is shorted to positive, it will not be a problem shorted to ground because we're providing a ground. And by having a test light to there, if when you connect it over to the distributor side, you plug it in and the light lights up without you putting the ground on the other side, that wire is shorted to ground no matter what. I mean, it is definitely shorted to ground. And then, but if not, you have to be careful because if it's short into power and you put a ground, you're going to smoke that. So you can either use the same wire that you're going to connect to ground. You can put a fuse in place, like maybe a 5 amp fuse, whatever the test line draws. So let's say, usually a halogen bulb draws around 4.2 amps. So a 5 amp should be safe enough that if it's a higher load, let's say, the wire is shorted, it will just burn the fuse. And if that happens, now you know that you have a problem in the harness. And you do that with each wire except for G, which is a ground. You're just going to use the test light and you're going to touch that pin. That should light up nice and bright because it's a ground. You don't need to provide anything else. You just connect the test light to battery positive on one end and you touch the other end to terminal G and that should light up, right? So that's again just to give you hints and try to help you do a test on the boat. But again, that's all I can do. All right, guys, thank you so much. I hope that you see how much I go beyond for my customers. There is no other company in the world that does this. I reconnect the computer, showing you wire diagrams, showing you that your computer is running again after a second visit. There is nobody that does that. Only my cells are diagnostic. So that's the reason I separate my company with anyone in the world. Nobody else. You're in the best hands. No doubt about it. I'll see you next time. And please don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.